Domagoj Croatian Folkdance Ensemble of Edmonton would like to welcome you to the celebration of the 50th annual Croatian Evening and the 50th anniversary of our folk dance ensemble. I am Tanja Pavelić, and along with Joseph Baričević, will be your hosts for this afternoon's performance. Poštovani gosti, dragi prijatelji, Hrvatski folklorni ansambl Domagoj želi vam dobrodošlicu na svoju 50. obljetnicu, kao i na 50. obljetnicu Hrvatske večeri. Na početku želimo vam se osobno predstaviti. Ja sam Tanja Pavelić i zajedno sa Joseph Baričević ću vas voditi u ovom našem poslijepodnevnom programu.
For 50 years, Croatian immigrants living in Edmonton, their children, grandchildren, and even great-grandchildren have been honoring the culture, traditions, music, song, and dances of their forefathers. Hrvati Edmontona, djeca, unuci, praunuci i praunuci hrvatske emigracije danas već 50 godina njeguju i ponosno čuvaju tradiciju svojih predaka, kako u svakodnevnom životu, tako i na kulturnom polju. Before we begin with today's program, we ask you to please stand as we honor the sacrifices made for our freedom here in Canada on this Remembrance Day. Our homeland of Croatia is near and dear to our hearts, and our new home of Canada welcomed us with open arms. We honor the freedoms we enjoy and the sacrifices made by brave souls who fought for this country. Please stand and let's have a moment of silence.
Please be seated. We welcome to our special occasion today some very special guests. The Ambassador of Croatia to Canada, Mr. Vice Skračić, who will in a few moments share a few words with us. We would also like to welcome the President of the Croatian Canadian Folklore Federation West, Mrs. Marija Barković, who also joins us from Calgary to celebrate our milestone anniversary with us. Of course, we welcome our guests and friends from Calgary. We would like to thank the Croatian Heritage Society and their performing groups, Vila Velebita 1 and 2, for coming from Calgary to celebrate this special occasion with us today, and who are always ready and willing to support our festivals and functions. There are no better friends to celebrate with, and we are thankful for your friendship. Thank you for joining us today.
Na ovoj našoj prigodi danas želimo dobrodošlicu našem posebnom gostu, veleposlaniku Hrvatske u Kanadi, gospodinu Vici Skračić, koji će za kratko vrijeme podijeliti nekoliko riječi s nama. Želimo dobrodošlicu i predsjednici Hrvatsko-Kanadskog folklornog saveza Zapadne Kanade, gospođi Mariji Barković, koja nam se također pridružuje iz Calgaryja kako bi s nama proslavila našu zlatnu obljetnicu. I naravno, pozdravljamo naše goste i prijatelje iz Calgaryja, Croatian Heritage Society, s njihovim izvođačkim skupinama Vili Velebita 1 i 2, što su danas opet s nama da proslave ovu posebnu prigodu, a koji su uvijek spremni i voljni podržati naše festivale i nastupe. Hvala na prijateljstvu i podršci, hvala što ste danas opet s nama.
We dedicate this event to all those individuals who found the time, energy, and spirit to honor the rich legacy of their Croatian forefathers in a land far from their roots. May future generations look upon their efforts with pride and with perseverance continue in their footsteps. Zahvaljujemo našim predacima, hrvatskim emigrantima, njihovim nasljednicima, našim bakama i djedovima, našim roditeljima, pa i nama samima koji smo čuvali i koji čuvamo hrvatsku tradiciju naših predaka. Da se evo danas, pa i u buduće možemo dičiti i pohvaliti našom bogatom hrvatskom baštinom, vidljivom i prepoznatljivom u našim djelima, naravi, običajima, pjesmi i plesu. Želja nam je da i naši budući naraštaji i dalje njeguju i budu ponosni na svoje hrvatsko podrijetlo.
To start our program this afternoon, we invite you to stand for the Croatian and Canadian national anthems, after which we will be joined by our parish priest, Velachastnija Matija Žukaj. Please stand for the anthems. Riječ dajemo našom duhobrižniku, velečasnom Matiji Žukaj.
Dragi prijatelji, dragi župljani, draže sestre, svi naši Hrvati ovdje u Edmontonu, pozdravljam vas u ime naše župe rođenja Marina i želim dobrodošlicu svima koji su došli na ovu 50. obljetnicu i našeg hrvatskog folklornog ansambla Domagoj, te proslave ove hrvatske večeri koja također slavi 50 godina. Zahvalni smo na prilici da proslavimo ovu prekrasnu prigodu, 50. obljetnicu oba događaja. U ovome trenutku kada slavimo ovaj zlatni jubilej, što bi rekli u Hrvatskoj, zlatni pir, želio bi se spomenuti svima onima koji su doprinijeli ovoj obljetnici kroz 50 godina Domagoja i 50 godina hrvatske večeri. Na prvi način bih htio zahvaliti svima koji su sudjelovali u osnivanju Domagoja i pokretanja hrvatske večeri, a to su prije svega bili ovi članovi Hrvatskog katoličkog centra, a to su gospodin Zvonko Zvonković i gospodin Marko Tomljenović. Oni su bili među prvima koji su dali tu ideju, tu inicijativu za osnivanje plesnog folklornog ansambla, a onda isto tako i za pokretanje hrvatske večeri, a nakon dolaska na poseban način je bio promotor i podržatelj Domagoja hrvatske večeri, župnik fra Jerko Čeleta. Pa evo, to su zaslužni ljudi što danas možemo slaviti ovu 50. obljetnicu. Na poseban način želim i zahvaliti i izraziti dobrodošlicu našem hrvatskom veleposlaniku, gospodinu Vici Skračiću, gospođi Marici iz Calgaryja i naravno ansamblu iz Calgaryja koji su evo praktički naša braća ovdje u Alberti. Evo i stalno se podupiramo, a ako Bog da, domaćin je sljedeći puta je Calgary, pa se uskoro i u Calgaryju vidimo. Također, evo, htio bi među onima koji su zaslužni za ovu obljetnicu spomenuti i sve one koji su gradili, izgrađivali i svojom žrtvom i svojim odricanjem našu župnu crkvu i dvoranu. Bila mi je skrenuta pozornost da je pri postavljanju rogova unutar crkve zamala jedna osoba i izgubila život. Evo, to dovoljno govori o želji Hrvata u Edmontonu da imaju svoju crkvu, da imaju svoju dvoranu, da imaju, ajmo se tako izraziti, svoje ognjište. I svi su oni dio ove obljetnice, ovog zlatnog jubileja. Također, bilo bi teško grijeh izostaviti i spomenuti i sve one koji su ugrađivali svoj trud u ovaj folklorni ansambl. To su bili dosta župljana, djece, mladih, roditelja koji su žrtvovali svoje vrijeme, vozeći zaista s kraja grada, s periferije, i svoju djecu, i dovozeći sebe, i odvajajući tako svoje vrijeme, i žrtvujući se i za ovu obljetnicu, za Domagoj, i za našu župnu zajednicu. Neka im Bog nagradi svaki njihov trud. Ono što je započelo od 1973. godine, već u početku bilo prepoznato. Vjerujem da oni koji su čitali godišnjak župe su mogli vidjeti da su Hrvati dobili i nagradu za najbolji štand na Heritage Festivalu u Edmontonu. Također, mogli su primijetiti da smo bili jedni od najprepoznatljivijih na onim paradama koji su se održavali kroz centar Edmontona. A onda, evo i 45 godina, slavimo od okupljanja ove zapadne Kanade i svih naših Hrvata na ovim susretima koje i dan danas slavimo i ove godine obilježavamo 45. godišnjicu. I na kraju, evo, riječ hvale svima onima koji su se unijeli, možemo reći srcem i dušom u ovu obljetnicu, a to su prije svega naš organizacijski tim iz Domagoja, koji se evo pripremao mjesecima, neki kažu još i prošle godine su pripremali nastup, evo, dovoljno govori i osmijeh i trud na njihovim licima, koliko su radili iza svjetla pozornice i pripremali ovu večer za sve nas, da nas mogu svake godine iznova okupljati. Pa im od srca hvala, evo na poseban način bi se htio zahvaliti i roditeljima te djeci, ovim mladima koji sa osmijehom sve prihvaćaju i na kraju krajeva samoj gospođi Tanji Pavelić, koja je zaista odvajala ne samo slobodno vrijeme, nego i preko toga da bi i ova večer bila pripremljena, ali i da bi zaista Domagoj mogao živjeti i disati punim plućima. Naravno, tu su i mnogi ostali koje ne možemo toliko spominjati imence, ali mi je drago da ih imamo toliko, da im je broj toliko velik, što dokazuje koliko živimo za tu ljubav prema našoj domovini i našoj baštini koju ne želimo izgubiti, nego predati našim najmlađima. I hvala svima vama evo, koji ste se okupili u ovom broju, sada ovdje, a vjerujem i na večer. I vjerujem da svaki od nas može i doprinijeti još više za ove obljetnice, ali i za ova događanja svojim osobnim angažmanom. Pa hvala vam svima od srca, a sad se možemo ukratko ustati, kako su me zamolili organizatori, da se pomolimo za ovaj početak ovoga dana, ove proslave, a u molitvi ćemo se spomenuti i svih pokojnih članova ovoga folklornog ansambla Domagoj, svih pokojnih članova naše župe, naših obitelji i svih naših pokojnih župnika. U ime Oca i Sina i Duha Svetoga. Oče naš, jesi na nebesima, sveti se ime Tvoje, dođi kraljevstvo Tvoje, budi volja Tvoja, kako na nebu, tako i na zemlji. Kruh naš svakodnevni daj nam danas i otpusti nam duge naše, kako i mi otpuštamo dužnicima našim, i ne uvedi nas u napast, nego izbavi nas od zla. Amen. Pokoj vječni darujem Gospodine, počivali u miru Božjem, naša Gospod, moli za nas. Sina i Duha Svetoga.
Thank you, Father Mattia. We are honored to have our special guest join us today from Ottawa as well. Ambassador of Croatia to Canada, Mr. Vice Skračić. Mr. Ambassador, we welcome you to share a few words with us this afternoon.
Bear with me, I literally landed half an hour ago, so I'm a little bit shell-shocked. Dragi sudionici svečanog koncerta, dragi izvođači, poštovana predsjednice folklornog društva Domagoj Tanja Pavlović, dragi Josipe, poštovani domaćini, organizatori, dragi prijatelji. Iznimno mi je zadovoljstvo biti s vama ovdje u Edmontonu danas povodom obilježavanja 50. godišnjice Hrvatskog folklornog društva Domagoj. Ova velika okrugla godišnjica najbolji je dokaz vitalnosti hrvatske kulture i identiteta u ovom dijelu Kanade, ali i šire. Folklor kroz glazbu, ples i pjesmu i ples jedna od najsnažnijih poveznica, kao živouća tradicija koja spaja ljudi i čine zajednicu vitalnu. Njegova je uloga nezamjenjiva u njegovanju zavičajnog nasljeđa, vrijednosti povijesti, kulture i našeg hrvatskog identiteta i duha u tuđini. In keeping this spirit alive, you are not only safeguarding Croatian traditions and the strength of the Croatian identity abroad, but also contributing to the cultural richness of Canada and Croatia. Thank you all for your contribution over these many years in promoting Croatia and its heritage in the communities where you live, in Alberta and beyond, as a member of the Croatian Canadian Folklore Federation West. U ime Veleposlanstva Republike Hrvatske čestitam od srca Hrvatskom folklornom društvu Domagoj na ovoj značajnoj obljetnici i želim vam da to tako i nastavite. Congratulations as you celebrate your 50th anniversary. I wish you all the very best in the years to come. Thank you.
We are honored to welcome Mrs. Marija Barković, President of the Croatian Canadian Folklore Federation West, who has also prepared a few words for us this afternoon. Mrs. Barković.
Dragi prijatelji i poštovani gosti, dear friends and distinguished guests. Anniversaries are opportunities for recollection of the years gone by, while positively reflecting on the years ahead. This 50th anniversary is of special significance for the Croatian Canadian Folkloration West. Under the initiative of the late Fra Jerko Čaleta, Folkdance Ensemble Domagoj was one of the 4 founding members of our federation today. It was under his leadership and as the very first president of our federation that in 1978, Domagoj and the Croatian community of Edmonton proudly hosted our very first Western Canadian Croatian Folklore Festival. For over 50 years, Domagoj has successfully embraced our Croatian heritage, making significant contributions in promoting and preserving our cultural identity, not only throughout the city of Edmonton, but throughout Western Canada, North America, and even our beloved homeland, Croatia. In looking at these past 50 years, happy memories, supportive friendships, and enduring relationships have enabled Domagoj to strengthen its aspirations by continuously embracing, inspiring, and passing on this love of Croatian folklore to its current and newest members, as well as the entire Croatian community of Edmonton. Dragi članovi Domagoja, upućujem vam srdačne čestitke na ovom značajnom i velikom zlatnom jubileju, 50 godina postojanja i neprekidnog djelovanja. U proteklih 50 godina uspješno ste ulagali u očuvanje folklorne baštine koje ste sa puno ljubavi i pažnje prenosili na mlađe naraštaje, kako bi i oni nastavili našu tradiciju i očuvali posebnost i raskoš kulturne baštine lijepe naše domovine Hrvatske. Kroz pjesmu i ples vaši članovi, voditelji, učitelji, roditelji koji su redovito dovozili djecu na probe svaki tjedan, sve one tete koje su neumorno i do kasne sate šile naše bogate narodne nošnje, kao i svi ostali volonteri koji su godinama pomagali na bilo koji način. S time ste pokazali da je folklorna baština važan dio hrvatskog identiteta u gradu Edmontona. Posebno valja spomenuti veliku i izuzetnu podršku vaše hrvatske zajednice i župe Male Gospe, bez čije bi pomoći i potpore bilo gotovo nezamislivo slaviti ovaj veliki jubilej. Svojim ste radom pokazali da je njegovanje kulturne baštine duboko utkano u tradiciju hrvatskih iseljenika koji se prenosi iz generacije u generaciju i da naša bogata baština nije pepeo, nego žar. Žar koji sa ljubavlju i ponosom predajemo novim generacijama. Davne 82. godine naš voljeni fraj Jerko podsjetio nas je sve. Hrvatska kulturna baština se ne može prekrstiti ni obiti. Hrvatska kulturna baština će živjeti i živjet će dok bude u srcima naše hrvatske djece i mladeži. Uvjerena sam da bi fraj Jerko bio izuzetan ponosan na sve nas nazočne danas, a posebno na ovo značajno postignuće i činjenicu da smo u ovih 50 godina rada uspjeli održati i prenijeti taj žar ljubavi prema našoj kulturnoj baštini na mlađe naraštaje, naša budućnost. We look forward to more wonderful years ahead as you continue to create and cherish even more shared memories that bring us all as a collective Croatian community in Western Canada closer to many more of these wonderful milestones. On behalf of the entire Croatian Canadian Folklore Federation West, we extend our congratulations to you, Domagoj, for achieving 50 golden and glorious years of success. Neka vas dragi Bog podrži u vašem budućem radu i trudu i neka se i dalje kola kreću. Thank you. Hvala.
Thank you, Mrs. Barkovic. On behalf of the Domagoj Croatian Folkdance Ensemble, a heartfelt thanks to all our special guests and friends who have come to share this momentous occasion with us. We have carefully prepared a concert for you this afternoon that is reflective of and honors our past, as well as celebrates our present and our future. We will pause to reflect on each of Domagoj's 5 decades with you, and some of you former members might catch a glimpse of your younger self in some of our photos and videos. Please enjoy this afternoon's performances and reflections.
Edmonton in the 1970s was a city breaking onto the world stage. In 1972, Edmonton joined the New World Hockey Association as one of the founding teams called the Alberta Oilers. Edmonton's first major arena and concert venue, Northlands Coliseum, opened in 1974, and the city hosted the Commonwealth Games in 1978. And we can't forget that the first Edmonton Heritage Festival debuted in 1976 with the Croatian community in Edmonton as one of the first ethnic community participants. We remain proud participants in this festival to this very day. The Croatian community in Edmonton in the early 1970s was only beginning to organize itself. A few years earlier, in the late 1960s, a group of hard-working Croatian immigrants decided to purchase and renovate an old warehouse that sat on the location of the current Croatian parish in downtown Edmonton. This hall was named the Croatian Catholic Center, and thereby began the first home and gathering place for Croatians in Edmonton and northern Alberta. In 1973, a group of young Croatians began talking with community leaders and the community odbor about forming a Croatian dance group, where fellow Croatians could share in the song, dance, and music of their homeland. The idea took off and received full support of the community, with practices beginning in the Croatian Catholic Center Hall in February of 1973.
Another important idea also formed at this time that has continued in this very day and is the reason we are all here today to celebrate. In the fall of 1973, the very first Croatian evening in Edmonton was held. The idea was to have an annual festive gathering of Croatians in Edmonton, together with their new Canadian friends, neighbors, and special guests, to showcase and share the Croatian culture, Hosted by the new Edmonton Croatian Dance Ensemble, the evening featured songs, dances, music, and of course many specialties of the Croatian kitchen. The Edmonton Croatian Folkdance Ensemble was also proud to host the very first Western Canadian Croatian Folklore Festival in 1978. Croatian dance groups from Winnipeg, Lethbridge, Vancouver, Victoria, and of course Calgary came to Edmonton to showcase the wide variety of dance, song, and music from the various regions of Croatia.
16 months ago, I met the fellow who came from Canada, namely to Alberta, or right of North Park, which is 350 miles north of Edmonton. He came 1922 here. So after him came a couple more guys, and they've been most of them settled in the Rycroft area, which is a Peace River country over there. So I asked them how they didn't like in the beginning. Well, they told me, hard work, language barriers, not many people to be together, some Ukrainians, Polish people, but there are so many Croatians. So nowadays, 1977 or 78, there are approximately around 5,000 Croatian people here in province of Alberta. There is a very large community of 400 families in Calgary. There is around 100 families in Lethbridge. So in Edmonton is around 400 Croatian families. Very small community in the Rycroft of the Croatian. We are call them the old timers. They are farmers, and they still come to Croatian celebrations in the city of Edmonton, especially when we have a Croatian evening here the last Saturday of October. So these Croatians who are at the moment in the Edmonton, Calgary, or Lethbridge, they are more or less hardworking people. They are some of them tradesmen, carpenters, plumbers, electricians. They are not as well for the farmers as those of us who came before Second War as that community in Rycroft. But they are quite happy family, happy people. I know they have little problems, little handicap because of the language, because they can communicate in a simple language words, how are you, it's good, something like that, but they are to understand deep problems of the language, English language, or to communicate well on the basis of the philosophy or the basis of the studies, it's very hard for them. So, but they are not in some kind of problem that they cannot make a living because of the language. They cannot work hard, and wives are working as well in the evening shifts, and they really have good houses, good furniture, good cars, and they are happy in a way. So, as a family life, they are coming together to the church, to the social activities, to the soccer team games, and as such, they really, you can see the smiling faces, not on the faces, but in their hearts, I can say that they are really happy, all together as a father, mother, and boys and girls, children, sons and daughters. That's a very well-known family life, and that's one of the good things that they brought from the old country, where still is the Croatian family life, very good.
Our first performance this afternoon. Please welcome our Domagoj senior group, who will perform in original costumes from 1973 with dances from Posavina.
1980s represented a time of growth and prosperity for Edmonton as a city, and for our own Croatian community as well. In 1981, West Edmonton Mall, the world's largest mall, had its grand opening. The first internationally renowned Edmonton Folk Music Festival was also held in 1981, and Edmonton hosted the World University Games in 1983. Of course, we cannot forget the Edmonton Oilers' Stanley Cup dynasty of the 1980s, winning the coveted trophy in 84, 85, 87, and 88. The 1980s also ushered in a new era for our Edmonton Croatian community. With the help of hundreds of community volunteers and thousands of dollars in financial support from community members, the Nativity of Mary Croatian Catholic Church was completed in 1982. This was the realization of a dream of thousands of Croatian immigrants in Edmonton dating back to the 1960s. The Edmonton community now had its very own church and brand new community hall. These structures would become the center of the Edmonton Croatian community and the focal point of worship, gatherings, celebrations, and community spirit to this very day.
The Edmonton Croatian Folkdance Ensemble also ushered in a new era in the 1980s. Membership in all of its groups, from the very youngest to its senior performing group, grew in the 1980s to well over 100 performers. The group began working with professional choreographers from around the world who developed beautiful and intricate choreographies, some of which you will see here today, that highlight the richness and depth of Croatian folklore. At this time, we acknowledge the hard work that was invested in our dance groups by guest choreographers, with special mention to returning instructor Željko Jergan for over 40 years of complex, innovative, and unique choreographies created for the dance groups. Nothing could get done without a long-term and dedicated group of dozens of volunteers, many of them the parents and grandparents of our performers who helped make, by hand, the traditional costumes, many of which are still worn by our performers, and some of which you will see here today. In 1987, the members of the dance group christened the group as Domagoj, the Croatian Folkdance Ensemble of Edmonton, and an artistically talented local community member, the late Anita Rudelic, created the group's distinctive logo. The senior performing group began to gain notoriety throughout Alberta as an entertaining and talented performing group, and was invited to perform at the 1983 World Universiade Games and the papal visit to Edmonton in 1984, and as special guest performers for the Edmonton Folk Arts Council at numerous local events. The group was also proud to once again host our friends from Croatian communities throughout Western Canada at the 1984 Canadian Croatian Folklore Festival West. Welcome our next two performers, Domagoj alumni with dances from Boka Kotarska, and Domagoj Small and Juniors with dances from Zagorje.
Yes,
As Edmontonians welcomed the new decade of the 1990s, it was a time of transformation and change in both our city and Edmonton's Domagoj dance group. In 1991, Edmonton's Grand Hotel McDonald was reopened and restored to its former grandeur and welcomed a new era of dignitaries and guests. In 1992, Edmonton was proud to have their new City Hall opened, with a new unique design very much reflective of the modern changes occurring throughout the city. In 1997, Edmonton celebrated the opening of the world-class performing arts center, the Windspear, which opened the city's doors to worldwide arts and music opportunities. The 1990s ushered in an era of continued transformation and change for Domagoj Ensemble as well. In this time of transition, the old guard of the Domagoj dancers of the 1980s began mentoring and moving into teaching roles, ensuring that the next generation of dancers would know the reason why the group was established, and to maintain a home base for our youth in the community. A whole new generation of dancers came in to learn and expand the dance programs. The annual Western Canadian Festival, held in Edmonton in 1990, signaled that transformation into the new era for alumni, volunteers, parents, new dancers, and all those who helped create the gold standard in performances across Western Canada. Festivals were hosted twice in Edmonton during the 90s, in 1990 and 1998.
Over the course of the 1990s, the numbers in the small, junior, middle, and senior group dance groups swelled, and many of the older alumni received the extraordinary gift of having the new dancers perform at their own weddings and special events. The circle of community and celebration of our Croatian culture in Canada was very strong. Representing our culture locally, provincially, and nationally across Canada through song and dance was a source of pride for the dancers and their families. That unity and strength of gathering our full community would become so important as Croatia entered their own period of extreme challenge when the war began in 1991 and lasted until late 1995. This was our battle to regain our independence as a nation on an international level. Our dance groups, including Domagoj, were always ambassadors to the Canadian public, but that advocacy, presence, and visibility became critical during the war of 1991 to 95 in our homeland. The cultural visibility, peaceful demonstrations that were led by our Domagoj dancers and families, along with the community, reinforced our nation's pride in our commitment to peaceful and regular protests here during the war years. Our special guests and friends, Croatian Heritage Society, Vila Velebita 1 and 2, with dances from the Dubrovnik area.
Daruj nam kolo naše. Ako ćeš nas darivati, Linđo ćemo zaigrati. Kruha i vina, zdravlja i mira. Ajde svi zajedno guštiramo. Sve ti zdravo i veselo bilo, a rujno vino se vas napilo. Veseli se domaćine i neka ti čast. O moj kolo, neka bude fešta za sve nas. Živjeli!
Živjeli!
Hej, Dundo moj, nema!
Ha! A za ispima! Jedan!
No, ima jedno iza drugo, svaka ti tako.
A nemam novca.
Daj plati više, nisi se obraća.
Ovo počani, hvala ti.
Samo šetna.
Aha, slušaj, nemojte nam zamjeriti, ne svira se džabe. Ali vidit ćemo. Svirat ću, kako smo?
Šta je to?
Kada ja se znam, sti lud. Neko je lud. Ne zna se ko pije i ko plaća. Idemo dalje.
Stajku!
Dušo moja, kažem ti da nema.
A daj, baš si škrt.
A, dobro si ga zapija.
Pa dobro, ja ću platit za ovu tvoju malu.
Molim? Je li vidiš to? On je pravi kavalijer.
Čekaj.
Ha, pravi čovjek, jel da? Evo, jesmo li nakupili dosta?
Eto, mislim da je dosta.
Dosta, dobro. Idemo dalje. Sviri mi sviri, sokole sviri. Vijaj, Vlado, nadigraj. Uzmi je za ruku, rumeno jabuku.
As the world said goodbye to the 1990s, we welcomed in the new millennium, with all the excitement created around Y2K and events unfolding internationally in preparation for this. Edmonton hosted events including the World Championship in Athletics in 2001, the famous very first NHL Heritage Classic, as well as the very first Grand Prix in 2005. Edmonton celebrated its 100 years of being the capital of Alberta, and the city surpassed the 1 million population mark. In the year 2000, the very first Domagoj Board of Directors was organized under the support of Fra Drago Gveric, with the goal of establishing a sustainable governance model for the dance school and ensemble. The early 2000s would produce the largest ever enrollments in folklore dancing, with numbers reaching an all-time high of over 110 dancers of all ages, with an expansion to 4 groups to represent Domagoj's strength and success.
Once again, a new generation of dancers joined the dance school, many of the new dancers being the young children and teenagers of alumni and founding members of the 1980s dance groups and volunteers. This was a time of pride to see that the Domagoj Dance Ensemble had successfully moved through at least 3 new generations of dances and dancers, and the vision of a strong, sustained dance school was achieved. Parents, dancers, and families continue to volunteer countless hours of volunteer time to host annual Croatian evenings and support the annual Western Folklore Festival attendance, or sending groups across Western Canada. Domagoj proudly hosted the festival in 2004. In 2003, Domagoj coordinated and held a very elaborate banquet to celebrate the dance ensemble's then 30-year anniversary, which boasted many of the past generations of dancers and their families for this event. It is in the late 1990s and 2000s that the Domagoj Dance School continued to attend festivals and hold Domagoj dance events, and dedicated volunteers work hard to fundraise for the purchasing of new costumes and equipment. This volunteer support is greatly appreciated and continues today. With the very generous support of the Croatian Congress in 2009, the Domagoj dancers learned 6 new choreographies in 9 months to prepare for a tour of Croatia, which saw Domagoj realize goals and dreams established by its founders, a plan to return to our homeland. Please welcome our next performers, Domagoj Senior Group with dances from Međimurje and Domagoj Juniors with a dance from Banat.
Čip čadaš!
began its intense downtown revitalization and the planning and construction of Rogers Place and the creation of the Ice District, Domagoj also began its sort of own revitalization in the 2010s. The spirit of change and modernization that saw our city start a fresh new chapter was reflected within Domagoj with its first ever tour of Croatia. In 2010, with the support of the Croatian Canadian Congress, Domagoj participated in a 2-week folklore tour that would include performances in Marija Bistrica, Zagreb, Nin, Kastel Kambelovac, Dugopolje, Posedarje, and the opening ceremonies of the Croatian World Games in Zadar. Since 2010, Domagoj has had the opportunity to continue to travel internationally by participating in multiple Croatian folklore festivals in Los Angeles and San Jose. Another big accomplishment for the dance school was hosting 2 Western Canadian Croatian folklore festivals in quick succession in 2010 and 2015.
As we continue to look forward and build on Domagoj's foundation, we are hopeful that the next generations will continue the traditions started by those who set out to create and build our ensemble and our community. This vision for the future led to the creation of the Domagoj Alumni Group, who participated in the Edmonton festivals in 2010, 2015, and traveled to Winnipeg in 2018, as well as Vancouver in 2019. We most recently hosted the first post-pandemic in-person Western Canadian Croatian Folklore Festival this past May, and welcomed all of our fellow Western Canadian friends, including Croatian Heritage Society from Calgary, to celebrate with us. The 2023 festival marked the 8th time Domagoj hosted this prestigious event, and we are excited to attend next year's festival hosted by our friends in Calgary. Through the changing decades, there is one constant: our love for our community, culture, tradition, and our homeland. Forming to close this afternoon's commemorative concert is the Domagoj Alumni Group with dances from Bachka.
again, a heartfelt thanks to the Croatian Heritage Society of Calgary and the Croatian Canadian Folklore Federation West. We look forward to seeing you at this evening's banquet and at next year's Western Canadian Croatian Folklore Festival in Calgary. Thank you for celebrating this 50th anniversary of Croatian Evening and celebrating Domagoj with us today. Thank you all.